Welcome again. So today we're going to talk a little bit about J-1 academic training. And so my name is Kyo Huang, and I'm a career counselor coordinator with UCSB Career Services. And Maddie, would you like to introduce yourself as well?
Yes, my name is Madison Motoyasu. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm an international student advisor in the Office of International Students and Scholars. And I will start off our workshop today with our presentation. Let me share my screen and pull it up for you all. Okay, so it's full screen on one side, but not the other. Sorry, let me share a different one. Okay, so now you're seeing the presentation, right? Yeah, okay, great. So our workshop today, for my portion at least, will have two parts. The first, we will go over on-campus employment, and then the second, we will go over academic training. And all the information provided in this workshop today is for J-1 students pursuing an undergraduate or graduate degree, or you're participating in EAP, which stands for the Education Abroad Program. So if you are tuned into this workshop right now, or if you're watching this back on our website or something, and you're a J-1 scholar, meaning that you're in the US in a J-1 category like intern or researcher or professor, then this information is not for you. Again, this is for J-1 students who are either bachelor's, master's, doctorate, or EAP students. We'll start with the first part being on-campus employment. And our question is, what is considered on-campus employment? So if you were hired and employed by UCSB, that is very much so considered on-campus employment. If the work is paid, then that means your paycheck will be coming from UCSB. However, it can also be unpaid, in which case, of course, you would not have a paycheck. Common examples of on-campus employment include teaching assistantships, research assistantships or RAs, disabled students program, note-taking, or dining hall workers. Oh, sorry, I lost my screen for a sec. And then something else that can also be considered on-campus work, even though it is much less common, is participating in a research study. So you may see some flyers on campus that are asking for students to participate as subjects in research studies, in which case you can participate, but you may need some authorization before doing so. Our next question is, when am I eligible for on-campus employment authorization? And the answer is as soon as you get to UCSB. How many hours can I work? Well, during the academic term, meaning fall, winter, or spring, you can work up to 20 hours per week. And then during break periods, such as, winter break, spring break, or all of summer vacation, then you can work over 20 hours per week. And this would include all types of work, whether it's on campus or off campus. It's a combined total, either minimum or maximum of 20 hours per week. And the important part, how do I get the authorization? First, you will download the on-campus employment form from the OISS website. You can navigate to our homepage and then click on the resources tab at the top, and you'll see an option for forms. That's where you will find the form. And then you have your hiring department sign it. So let's say your position is a TA, and that means you would have to have your department that you are TAing for sign off on this form. And then you can email it to oiss@sa.ucsb.edu, and an advisor will process it for you. Once it is approved, it will be returned to you as confirmation of your employment authorization. Now, the box that is highlighted at the bottom is really important to note because you must have the authorization prior to beginning the work. Working without the prior authorization is actually a violation of your visa status. So be sure to make note of OISS processing times that are listed on all of our forms so that you can plan accordingly. When do I need a new validation? Once your current validation expires is the one answer, and validations can be approved for a maximum of 1 year. If you get a new job, that's another reason you might need a new validation. Each authorization is job specific. It's not a generalized work authorization. So when you get your form approved, OISS is saying you are approved to be a TA in this department working 20 hours a week from this date to this date. And if you get a new job, then you would need to apply for a whole other validation. And that's what I mean when I say the work is not just a generalized work authorization. Once you get the authorization, it sounds as though, okay, I'm free to work on campus anywhere in any capacity. That's not true. You would need to apply for an authorization per job. Another thing to note is that the validation cannot exceed your DS 2019 program end date. So if your DS 2019 ends on December 18th, 2020, which is the end of fall quarter, then your work validation would never exceed that date for on-campus employment. Okay, on to part 2. This is our slightly more lengthy and meaty section, if you will, academic training, which is often shortened with the acronym AT. What is academic training? It is another type of employment authorization, so you can be eligible for both on-campus employment and academic training as a J-1 student. It allows you to gain work experience in your field of study, but off campus. And it allows you to engage in continued cultural exchange, as well as occurring either during or after completion of your academic program. When am I eligible? After the first quarter of full-time enrollment at UCSB. So if your very first quarter at UCSB is fall 2020, then the earliest that you can be authorized for academic training is winter of 2021. How much academic training am I eligible for? This part is pretty nuanced and particular to your degree program type or non-degree program. So our non-degree seeking students, our EAP students, are eligible for academic training equal to the program duration time. Bachelor's and master's students are eligible for academic training equal to the program duration time or 18 months, whichever amount of time that is less. And lastly, our doctorate students equal to the program duration time or 18 months, whichever is less, but also eligible for 18 months more after program completion. So those are the general rules, but like I said, it's pretty nuanced. So I've outlined a couple examples here. So for our EAP students, you're either in a program for 1, 2, or 3 quarters, right? So if your program is only 1 quarter, then that means you'll be eligible for 3 months of academic training because 1 quarter is 3 months long, and so on and so forth. So if you're enrolled in 2 quarters for EAP, you're eligible for 6 months. If you're enrolled for 3 quarters, then you're eligible for 9 months. Now, our bachelor's and master's students, let's say you're a bachelor's student who completes a degree program in 4 years, which is a typical amount of time, then you are eligible for 18 months of academic training. Because remember, the rule in the previous slide was equal to the program duration time, or 18 months. Even though your program duration may have been 4 years, you're not eligible for 4 years of academic training. You're eligible for 18 months, because 18 is less than 4 years. 18 months is less than 4 years. And then same thing for the master's student. Let's say you complete your degree program in 2 years. Again, you're still only eligible for 18 months of academic training. Now, the doctorate students, let's say you complete your program in 6 years. You can have up to 18 months of academic training to use before your graduation date, and then the additional 18 months after you graduate, which could be a total of 36 months. If you do not use all 18 months before graduation, then you can use all 36 after graduation. Similarly, let's say you're a doctorate student and you only do 6 months of academic training before you graduate. Now, once you've graduated, you have access to 30 months, because 30 plus 6 is 36. When can I do academic training? The answer is either before or after you've completed your academic program. There are 2 types of academic training, the first being pre-completion. And the pre-completion phrase refers to before you complete your academic program. So for EAP students, that would just be your either 3, 6, or 9 months of the prescribed program length. And then for bachelor students, academic program completion is when you get the bachelor's degree, so on and so forth. For your pre-completion academic training, your work cannot exceed 20 hours per week during the academic term, something we already went over, and work can exceed 20 hours per week, during breaks and summer. You can be authorized for pre-completion academic training up until your original DS 2019 end date. For post-completion academic training, it means after you have completed your academic program. In this case, the work must exceed 20 hours per week. And this authorization actually extends your DS 2019 end date. So let's say your DS 2019 and your program was ending on December 18th, 2020. That's the last day of fall quarter, like I said before. If you are approved for academic training that's post-completion, then your DS 2019 will actually be extended past December 18th of 2020. But it's really important not to let your DS 2019 expire ever. So be mindful of your end date at all times. Where can I work on academic training? Well, the answer is anywhere in the US, as long as the job meets all academic training requirements. For pre-completion, you can work off campus, and then post-completion, you can work on or off campus. You also can only work at a job that clearly relates to the curriculum of the major listed on your DS 2019. You can find that information in section 4 of your DS 2019 under subject/field code. So for our EAP students, you do not technically have a major at UCSB since you are non-degree seeking. However, you will notice there's a code on your DS 2019 nonetheless, and that code actually means liberal/general studies. So that makes you eligible for pretty much any job or internship under academic training, as long as it is a bona fide job or internship. And then of course, for degree seeking students, if your degree is geography, then your job or internship must be directly related to geography as a field. How do I apply for academic training? download the academic training application form from our website to start with. And then you'll gather all the application materials. I also recommend you read through the page on our website about academic training. There's some important information, and there's just a lot more information in general than I'm able to communicate in our little workshop today. And then you'll email the completed form and all the required attachments to oiss@sa.ucsb.edu. And once it is approved, a new DS 2019 showing the authorization will be provided to you along with an employment authorization letter. And lastly, the part at the bottom in the box says you must have the authorization prior to beginning work. This is similar to something else we already went over, but working without prior authorization is a violation of your visa status. And again, make note of OISS processing times listed on all of our forms. Your reporting requirements are the same as what you would normally be subject to as a J-1 student. So update your address in gold within 10 days of the change, and then contact OISS if you do any of the following things, such as change your name, you've lost your employment, maybe you were fired, if you want to end your academic training early, if you want to extend your current academic training, if you want to add a second academic training opportunity, or if you want to change employers. And lastly, you'll submit the academic training final evaluation form to OISS within 30 days after completing your training opportunity. That concludes my portion. I'll end my screen share. And Carol, do you think we'll take questions all together at the end? Yeah, okay, great. That's all.
Thank you so much, Maddie. So we'll take questions at the end. For this portion, I'm going to be going over some resources and just showing you how you can find internships and jobs on campus. So I'm going to share my screen and show you what we do at Career Services to help you learn more about finding a job and internship. I'm actually gonna try to, are you seeing Career Services screen here? The website? No? Okay, let me try that again. How do I fix this? How do I share my screen? Hold on. I lost my little toggle bar. Where is it? What do you see? Do you see the screen?
We see your Zoom launch meeting screen.
Launch meeting screen. Okay. How do I find the toggle bar? I can't even find the Zoom bar so I can stop share.
It's usually towards the top of the screen. If you hover, it might pop down.
Hold on. Let's try this again. Here's the Zoom, or maybe I can try this. Oh yeah, I found it. Stop share. Let me try to share again and see if that works. Okay, share screen. Okay, here. Okay, technical difficulties. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is our main page, careerservices.ucsb.edu. So what I want to do is walk you through some of the resources that we can utilize to help you get that job or internship that you may be looking for. So you can use this for like your applications as well as just to search for opportunities. So a couple of sections that I want to highlight as a resource is this gain experience section. So on here, it tells you a little bit more about different strategies and student jobs and internships and how to get involved with research. So if you're kind of thinking, well, I need some strategies on how I can prepare for my internship search. So this will kind of tell you a little bit about like, how do you start that search? What do you look for? For example, you might want to look for like position title, responsibilities, things like that. And then how do you sort of like begin your search? So I wanted to kind of go over this so you can see some of the resources that we have on our website. The next thing I want to show you is in the Get Hired section, there is a lot of information about how do you look for jobs, as well as how do you write a good cover letter and resume for American employers, because a lot of times an international resume might look a little bit different from an American resume. And so we just want you to be able to create like a resume and cover letter for the US context. And so here it tells you a little bit of information about how do you write a resume, how do you build the sections, as well as provides you with some examples. We also highly recommend writing a cover letter. If you've never written a cover letter before, it's essentially a document or like a letter that explains your interest in the position that you're applying for and highlights some of your skills and qualifications. We also have resources on interviewing and job offers, as well as LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a really great tool for networking. So if you've never used it before, we have some resources to help you learn more about how do you create a LinkedIn profile and utilize it in order to help you find your internship or your job. So I just kind of wanted to briefly go over like these resources with you. The next part that I want to cover is something called career paths. So at UCSB, we have 6 different career paths that most of our students are interested in. And so we kind of consolidated this into like this Gouch's path to success. So some of the areas in which you might be interested in, we have created some career guides and advice based on each career area. So let's say that you're a student who is wanting to find an internship or a job related to engineering and technology. Our career counselor, who works with engineering and technology students, has created some career guides to help you learn more about the field and how to find experiences and get hired in this profession, as well as think about grad school options and things like that. Another section that we have on our website is the international community section. And in this section, you'll find advice just for international students. Like it'll tell you a little bit about like, what is it like to work in the United States? How do you find experiences, like I've mentioned before, some frequently asked questions, and also things about like, for example, how do you answer some like frequently asked job application questions? And things like where are the best places to look for positions, what are some strategies or resources that can help you find employment. And so I highly recommend looking at this page, and it also tells you a little bit about like US work culture as well. So you can learn more about like the process, what that looks like, and how that may differ from maybe your home country. So these are just some of the website resources that I wanted to quickly highlight. Some resources specifically that I think are particularly helpful for your job search and internship search is in our digital resources toolkit, there is a resource called Going Global, as well as Vault. So Going Global is a resource where it tells you a little bit about the it has different career guides from each industry and country that you may be interested in getting an internship at. So in this website, what you'll find is you can log in through our website, and then you can find career guides, job search tools, as well as the H-1B database. So you can go in here and you can find country-specific career guides or global city career guides. So let's say, for example, you're looking for an internship in a place that is very unfamiliar to you. Let's first say, for example, you're looking for an internship in Austin, Texas, and you're kind of like, well, I don't know what types of jobs are available in Austin, Texas, or what it'll be like to get an internship there after I graduate from UCSB or after I complete my program at UCSB. So some things that you can go do is look in here, and it'll provide you with some overviews about how you can find a job, as well as advice about living there in that city. So in here, newly added is also a remote job section. So if you're looking for remote positions, you can go ahead and click this toggle bar. So you can find some remote positions, and then you can kind of go in and search what position or keyword you might be looking for. And let's say you're looking for something in like the United States, then you can go ahead and click that. And what you'll find is positions that come up for jobs in the US related to the keyword search that you put in. And then these are in particular remote positions, but you can also do all positions if you're looking to go to a place where you're physically there. The other thing that's in here, as I mentioned, is the H-1B database. And this is particularly helpful for international students who are curious about employers who are open to hiring international talent in the United States. And so if you're interested in finding an employer who may have worked with or hired an international employee in the past, this might be a good database to look into. So if you wanted to use the database, you can go ahead and do that. The other thing about going global that's also quite powerful is there's a lot of different types of career news that they've also put out when it comes to like international hiring. And so here, for example, you can see that there is an article that was, and as well as a video that was set out about the US and employment outlook amid COVID. So they will be doing sort of like what is the employment outlook right now for international student hiring or international workers in the US in general, as well as like areas of promise, talent shortages, companies that may be hiring, and salary trends. So if you wanted more information on trends in the professions, you can also go to the career news aspect and look for advice there. I hope that I didn't go through that too fast, but I was kind of trying to share with you this resource that you can utilize to learn more about finding opportunities. And then in here, you can also look for things like job search advice, employment trends, as I mentioned, and cultural advice. The next resource that I want to talk to you about is oftentimes when you are trying to get into a profession or get an internship related to an area of interest, you might not know everything that has to do with that particular job or internship. So in Vault, this is where you can get access to some of that career advice that you may be looking for. So Vault has these really amazing career guides where it can walk you through different industries. So let's say that you are here and you're wanting to get a job related to advertising and marketing, but you're not really sure how to do that. So Vault has these career guides where it can walk you through each of these different content areas and tell you about jobs in those areas and how you can break into that profession. So this is just an example. So if you go here, you can download it. Let's say you're interested in public relations. You can go in here and it'll give you a little bit of an overview, but then you can click view now. And what it'll do is it'll bring up an ebook that you can look into that has a bunch of career advice, and you can download that ebook so that you can read it on your own device. The other thing that I wanted to mention is in here with the career advice, you can also find different types of career resources from exploration to day in the life of a particular career path and things related to COVID-19 and different tips and things like that. There's also the blog. And in the blog, there is a section here that has blog posts that are just for international students. So if you're interested in finding advice and trying to understand, how will a Biden presidency affect the international students' job search, or learning about like networking tips and things like that for international students, you can go in here and find additional advice. So the final thing that I want to kind of talk about when it comes to Vault is it has a lot of these like rankings as well as agencies. So sometimes I have students ask about like whether or not there's like a list of companies that they can look at for specific industries or for specific like types of areas. So I kind of like to recommend students look through, for example, let's say that you want to look for a consulting firm in Europe. You can find some top ranked internships and jobs based on utilizing like a Vault list. So I highly recommend checking that out if you want to use that to kind of narrow down your search a little bit. Okay, so these are some of the top resources that I recommend for international students who may be looking for places to kind of explore resources and to find more information about how to get a job or internship in the US. I hope that was a good like an overview of some. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do one more thing. Okay, so the last thing I want to say is if you have not had a chance already to log into Handshake, Handshake is where you can find jobs and internships that I've posted for UCSB students. And so if you go into Handshake, it will not look like this for you because this is my account, but in the student view, what it will look like is like it will look like this for you. And so once you're logged in, what you can do is go in here and search for jobs and internships. And so the more narrow your search is, the perhaps more helpful the search engine will be. So let's say you're looking for something related to accounting. You can go in here and you can search, for example, accounting internship. And then you'll see accounting internships pop up. You can narrow these but with utilizing different filters. So let's say that you're looking for something that is part-time and you're looking for something that is that will accept OPT or CPT. I don't think this part is really relevant to you because you don't have OPT, but maybe that it will sponsor or does not require US visa. And then maybe you're interested in looking for something in the field of accounting. Then you can click that and show results. Right now, I probably use a really bad filtering option, so it didn't show me any results. But you can try this on your own and try to use different filters. So maybe you can do like full-time job or internship. Actually, I think the more filters I use, the worse that this gets. So never mind. Don't do that. So I just want to show you that you could do this, and then you can like save your searches and things like that. The next thing I want to show you is that in Handshake, you can also find events that you can attend. So this is the workshop that we are doing right now. So you can see this on here, but you can also find other events that you may be interested in. So for example, maybe you're interested in learning more about launching your sales career with EF or Scribe America. So you can find different types of information sessions, employer events, and things like that. So this is Handshake. I just wanted to give a quick overview, and then I'm going to go back to our website. So in terms of student services, if you go to contact us, what you'll find is all of the different services that we offer. So we do everything from helping students with resumes and cover letters and applications to thinking about what you might want to do next with your career. We have our on-demand virtual workshop series, which you can learn more about different types of career topics if you're interested in learning about like how do you job search, how do you like write a resume. We have a video playlist that can run you through some of our most common career topics. And also you have able to access virtual appointments and virtual drop-ins as well. So you can schedule an appointment or call into drop-in hours to talk to a career peer. So the last thing is if you would like to contact us, here's our contact information. So you can always email careerhelp@sa.ucsb.edu to contact someone in our office or find someone that can answer your questions through our team members, or you can always contact me if you have any questions about career services and how we can help you. So that is it for now for the things that I wanted to cover in today's session about academic training and the services that we offer. If you have any questions, please feel free to write it into the chat. So thank you so much for joining us for this employment workshop. And Mia and Maddie look forward to helping you on your journey. Maddie, did I cover everything that you think that they need to know so far without all of the resources?
I think so. And while we wait for anyone to pose any questions, I can also give a short tour of our website. We've gone through a sort of recent remodel, so I'll share my screen really quickly. And if you're in, this is our homepage. If you go to students and then click on current J-1 students, you'll see there's an employment section here. And this is all the information we went over about on-campus employment. And then if you click academic training, there's a lot more information for academic training here also. So be sure to check that out. And then we had also talked about in the presentation how to find all of our forms. So if you click on resources and then forms, scroll down here to J1 student forms, you'll see the applications for academic training and on-campus employment. And then lastly, if you click the student advising page, you can see announcements as well as our drop-ins availability, where you don't need to schedule an appointment. And then we have an alphabet split by family name. So if your, for example, family name is in A through D, then your advisor assigned to you is Ashley Rifkin, and you can click this link to schedule an appointment with Ashley. I think that's everything I wanted to go over really quickly for our website. And it doesn't look like we have any questions.
Yeah, so I know that during the workshop, I kind of just went over a lot of what our resources are. I think for, if you have any questions about like finding employment or internships and things like that, like feel free to reach out to us at any time. At Career Services, we can help you with filling out an application, learning about how to search. I just kind of went through some of the tools for you so that you have a better understanding of like how do you navigate these like online resources on your own time. Because I think a lot of times when it comes to doing applications and things like that, like kind of getting the overview and understanding what resources you can access and how you can start the process is really important. And I hope that that's one of the takeaways that you get from the session. Like we just want to give you an overview of like what's available to you as well, so that, you know, when you feel like you do need help and you have tried to kind of put all the components together and you're like, well, I need more help, I need more answers, I'm not really sure how to move forward, that you know that the resources are there to help you and that we can answer any additional questions that you may have. And so we encourage you to connect with both of our offices because we are here to support you and help you kind of along with your career and to find employment opportunities and take advantage of the opportunities that you have to work with UCSB and also to, you know, spend your time here. So I just want to encourage you to connect with our offices and also utilize the resources that we have on our, like through our office.
Great, thanks, Carol. Okay, well, I again don't think I see any questions in the chat or in the Q&A box. I can also drop my email address in the chat in case anyone wants to reach out to me directly, but also refer to our advising alphabet split. So I just posted it right now.
I can do that as well. So if you wanted to reach out to me directly, you can always reach out to me through email. I do liaison with the Office of International Students and Scholars. So, you know, I support the UCSB international student community and try to answer any questions that you may have, as well as try to help you find answers if I don't have the answers to those questions, right? And so we'll always try our best to help you with the experience that we hopefully can support you with. So with that said, since there's no questions, we will probably go ahead and end the call. So thank you all for being with us today. Again, if you have any questions about what we covered today or any questions about your own career and would like to talk to someone or employment opportunities, feel free to talk to OISS or Career Services, and we're here to help you. So thank you so much for being with us today, and we hope you have a great rest of your day and rest of your week. Um, Bye, everyone.
Bye.